Hi everybody, welcome back to Key Wisdom Tarot. My name is Ruth and I'm your Reiki Master and Tarot Reader. You won't fix the world by trying to fix the world. What does that statement actually mean? Let's put it another way. 1 + 1 equals 3. I was going to rub that out, but I kept it. Now, this thought came to me after a pretty intense few days of meditation. And I really thought it's important that I share with you, really the journey that meditation can take us on, and really how helpful meditation can be in our understanding of life and our experiences. And I just felt inspired to share this idea with you, and really talk you through, what that type of statement means and how that can help us to understand and unlock our karma. I mean, karma, if we think about what the word karma means, it's about some people, it's like the natural law of cause and effect. The only thing is that we think that one thing equals another, and actually karmically it never does. People think of karma as very simply, people think of karma as something that if you do something wrong, then life will teach you later on in life that was wrong. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, which I refer to often, defines karma as that, what we just said, but also this idea of things that we have avoided. So if we've avoided, for example, doing something in our life, going after our dreams, for example, then later on in life we will have experiences that will help us to finally face up to something that we've avoided. Okay, so there's two sort of ideas of karma. The only thing is, we think, not in a karmic sense, but we think that 1 + 1 is 2. And, mathematically, it is. If you add 1 and you add 1 together, you get 2. The only thing about the universe and karmic cycles and unlocking our karma, and why this statement, you won't fix the world by trying to fix the world, makes so much sense karmically, is because actually, karmically speaking, 1 + 1 equals 3. What does that actually mean? Well, let's talk about that. Let's think about that. If you are you're number 1. And you do everything within your power to try to fix the world, to try to improve a situation. And no matter how hard you try, no matter how much effort and energy you put into fixing that situation or improving that situation, ultimately, you may not always get what you want. You may not always get what you expect. And that is the influence of karma and universal law, natural law, universal energy. These are some of the notes that I wrote down. This is what I do. So really, it's about this idea of the unknown element. No matter how much effort I put into trying to get something, there's actually an unknown result. There are variables that are unknown to us. There are things that affect our actions. There are things that affect people's responses to our actions. Well, I'm trying to change the world. I'm trying to do something good. Why doesn't everyone else try to fix the world with me? Why can't everyone else be on that same page as me, as us? Maybe they are. Maybe in their way, they're trying to fix the world. The answer really is this idea of variables. There's an unknown result always. You and your actions don't always equal the result that you want. So me trying to fix the world doesn't always mean I'm going to get there. And that's why I always say 1 + 1 is 3. Because actually there's unknown elements within the world at work that we as a one individual cannot possibly take into account all these variables. So we do not actually know what our input is going to, how our input is going to affect other people, and how our input is going to actually affect the result that we're trying to get, okay? So I suppose the question then is, how do we mitigate this? How do we, if we're trying to achieve something, so say, for example, we're trying to get a job. So if you're trying to get a job, hello, Tiny, Tiny's here, hello, Tiny. So if you're trying to get a job, for example, and you do all the work possible to get this job, you do all the research necessary, you do all the training necessary, you look at the company, you get help with answering the questions, you get a great reference, you've got great experience, you've got a great personality, you smash it in the interview, you do all that. That's all you. That's all you and your actions. And you don't get the job. 1 + 1 = 3. You meet someone, you fall in love, you're in a relationship, you think, this is the woman for me, this is the man for me. I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that this relationship is successful. I'll say please and thank you, and I'll buy them flowers, and I'll cook them dinner, and I'll meet their friends, I'll be fine, we'll have fabulous sex. All the things that you think that your actions will result in the long-term permanent relationship that you want. But it doesn't. They dump you, they cheat on you, whatever. 1 + 1 = 3. And the reason for that is the unknown, is karma. So how do we mitigate against it? I suppose the fact is, there are always 3 elements in you and your actions, okay? Because first of all, in order to understand what the outcome of something will be, potentially, you have to know, actually, what you are actually putting into a situation. And we've got this thing, us humans, and it's called ego. And our ego is not necessarily a negative thing. Ego is a very positive thing, because it is our ego that helps us to travel through karmic cycles. It's our ego that potentially makes us want to cook these nice dinners, or, try for this relationship, try for this job. It's our ego that helps us to do those things. And that is the variable. Your ego is on a journey. Your sense of self is on a journey, a spiritual journey, to truly discover and realize and understand who you truly are. And some of us, sometimes, depending on where we are in that journey, we don't realize and recognize that actually our actions are being governed by karmically things that we need to experience in order to understand ourselves, in order to understand this human experience. Sometimes we don't realize that karmically our egos are being affected by things that are necessary in order that we can grow and reveal ourselves, in order that other people can see us authentically. So how can we fix the world? How can we change the world? Well, some people on the comments, those people that follow me on Instagram, and who keep a check on the community section, excuse me, on my channel, those people said, well, you've got to fix you. You've got to do that internal work. You've got to do that internal work. So I suppose the questions I'm going to ask you are, who are you? And I suppose every single answer you give me to that question, I want you to ask yourself why. So, for example, if you'd have asked me this time last year, who are you, Ruth? I would have said, oh, I'm a teacher. You know, I'm single. I'm a, what am I? I'm a sister. I'm an aunt. I'm a daughter. I'm a friendly person. I try to be. I'm a happy person. I try to be. I'm very positive. I try to be. So I'd give you all these answers of, these are the characteristics of me. This is who I am. And next to each of those characteristics, the next question that I'd need to ask myself, or that we do in meditation that helps us to unlock our karma, is to ask the question, why? Why are you a teacher, Ruth? Well, honestly, if you'd have asked me that 5 years ago or 10 years ago when I started teaching, my answers would have been very different to last year. You know, I might have said, oh, because this is what I love. You know, I love kids, which I do. I love educating people. I love to learn. I love blah, 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 whatever. I love my holidays, whatever it is. But actually, as I continued to ask that question, you know, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and till finally last year, the answer to that question, why am I a teacher? Why? Is because I need to earn a living. That's the reason. That's the answer. That's the truth. That's the realization. That strikes about my actions. The reason I have spent 10 years devoted to being a teacher is because I need to pay my bills like everybody else. That's the reason. Ultimately, that's it. There ain't no sugarcoating it, blah, 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 vocation, whatever, whatever, whatever. And don't get me wrong. I was meant to be in that situation, clearly, wasn't I? Because all that 10 years, that years of teaching has led me to here. But I wasn't able to be honest with myself 10 years ago. I wasn't ready to accept that actually the thing that I do most, the thing that I spend most of my day, my time, my years doing is something that I literally do to earn money. That's it. As much as you might say, yeah, I love it, blah, 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 whatever, whatever, whatever. It's still not authentic to me. It's still not where I want to be. I can't fix the world, excuse me, if I don't know who I am. How can I help fix the world? So for you, you've got to ask yourself that question. First of all, because as I said, there's too many variables. So who are you? That means being honest. That means being truthful with yourself. That means asking yourself these questions. I'm a teacher. Why am I a teacher? Because I like it. Why do you like it? Because it's fun. Why is it fun? And you go through 1,000,001 answers before you hit on the correct one. And when you hit on the right answer for you, the authentic answer for you, you feel that. You understand that. You know that. Inherently, you understand. So for me, when I got to the point where I was able to say, actually, I do this because I need to make a living as a teacher, then you start to think about, okay, the question is, what is more important? I mean, these are big questions. What is more important? I'm asking you, what's more important? Is it more important then to make a living and pay your bills than it is to be authentic to yourself? Is it more important to make a living and pay your bills than it is to be authentic to yourself? That's a question. So you ask that question to yourself. I'm interested to see what the answer is, because for many, many years, I thought the answer to that question was, well, of course it is. Of course it's more important to pay my bills. So karma led me down this path. It led me down this path. I put all my effort, all my energy into being a great teacher, into being a great role model, into trying my best, into inspiring the kids, you know, into, I put all my energy and effort and focus into doing that. That's what I did. There was me. And I put all my energy and effort and focus into being a great teacher, a great role model, the best I could be. And what was the result of that? What was the result of it? Oh, not only was I miserable, I was ill, perpetually unwell, perpetually unable to sustain what I was doing, finding it hard, struggling, difficult. Don't get me wrong, you know, I was, I suppose, a successful teacher on paper. You know, my kids did well, my kids made great progress, blah, 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 blah. But ultimately, I was not in a good place. I did not feel good. And that's because there's this unknown variable. There's these variables that are unknown. And I think for a lot of people, the unknown variables... It's just started raining. I'm chucking it down. I think for a lot of people, the unknown variables is your soul, your spirit, who you are. I always say that we are a combination of things. We are who we are when we were born. And I'm going to draw a little circle. I like my little diagrams. I feel like I'm back at school. Some stuff you can't get out of some habits. So you're kind of born this way, as the fabulous Gaga would say. But you're also a product of your experiences. You're born this way and you're a product of your experiences. So really, you've got to think about which to you is more important. Because both of these are you. This is all who you are. This is, let me label it. You. This is you. This is who you are. This is who I am. This is who all of us are. And, you know, in meditation, what we do is we try to balance these two things out. Because actually, strictly speaking, for a lot of people, they are more like this. They are more like this. You know, outwardly, they are more a product of experience, and they forget how they were born. They forget who they are when they were born. Most people, it's a tiny part, you know. They mainly stand as a product of their experiences. They look at all the things that went into being, to creating their identity. They look at, you know, what their parents taught them, what the world tells us, their education, their friends, social media nowadays, you know, more so than when we were growing up. I'm 35. You know, we look at, you know, the relationships that we've had in the past, the friendships, our wives and our husbands and our children, and our jobs, our work, and all of these things. And people think that that's who they are. And that's only a part of who you are. That's only some of who you are. You know, you came out fully formed. Don't you remember? And that's not me being facetious, or that's not me being, I can't think of the word, but I'm asking you, do you remember? Well, really, that is what meditation is for. Meditation helps us to remember who we are, who we were when we came into this world. In essence, your natural state of being. And also, when we get to a certain point, it's about understanding that the experiences that we've had, yes, they've informed. Goodbye, Tiny. The experiences that we've had, yes, they've informed us as we've moved along our journey, as we've moved along our path, as we've moved through our lives. Yes, they have informed us. They have. And the reason they've informed us is because 1 + 1 = 3. The unknown variable, some people call God, some people call angels. Some people call it luck, some people call it law of attraction. I call it universe, because universe covers everything. For me, the variables, the unknown results, the unknown influences and impacts that go on in our life, one, are there to get us to this point, to take us from this, where we are all about what we see, where we're all about, oh my gosh, that happened, this happened, they told me this, I learned that. And actually, they're trying to get us to balance. Remember, I talked a lot about the 7s last month, Check out that video about the number 7s. To balance, have that authentic balance, where we remember who we were when we were born, how we came into this world, in essence, who you are. Some of us, this is where we talk about people, when they talk about past lives and they talk about the collective consciousness. Really, we've all got the ability to tap into that wisdom because it's there, it exists. Remember, Einstein said it best. I think it's his 3rd law. Energy cannot be destroyed. Energy cannot be created. It can only be transformed and transmuted, changed. So every single life that's lived before yours, every single experience of everybody that's ever walked on this universe, we can tap into the energy. It exists. It's here. It's all around us. These experiences, these variables, this 1 + 1 = 3, these variables are all trying to get us into balance. They're trying to get us to see ourselves for who we are. So who are you? How can you fix the world? I suppose some people want to know that question, want to know the answers to that question. I mean, I don't know the answers to that question. I suppose this was another question I wrote down yesterday. So if we cannot guarantee the outcome, what should determine our input? What should be the thing that guides us through our lives, that guides our actions? What should guide your actions? If you do not know, I'm going to try really, really hard to get this job, I'm going to put all the work in, energy, effort in, and you do all that, and you still don't get the job, what then do you change? You mean you can't work any harder, can you? In that circumstance, in that karmic situation where you keep looking for jobs, you do all the work, you do all the practice, you do all that, you do everything, and you're still not successful. In that karmic circumstance, there's something that you're not seeing. You're in that situation because the universe is trying to show you who you are. The universe might be saying, you're not meant to be a banker. You're not meant to be a teacher. And you're going to have to keep failing at it. You're going to have to keep feeling bad about yourself until you start to admit that the only reason you want to be a banker or a teacher is because you want to pay your bills. And ultimately, there's something else for you. There's something else for you. Now, we can fight it. We can fight our karma, and I did. And the universe isn't mad at you. People think, this is why I stopped saying God. I mean, I'm a Catholic, I went to Catholic school, blah, blah, blah. Christened, baptised, all that stuff. But this is why I don't say God anymore, because people think that God is a man sat on a cloud. This is what people think of God. They think that God's like this, sat on a cloud somewhere, going, I'm being very demonstrative, aren't I, darling? Sat on a cloud somewhere going, oh, I don't like what she just did there. I'm going to punish you now. I'm going to punish you. And he strikes out a lightning bolt and he punishes you. He punishes you because you're gay, or he punishes you because... Rubbish, man. God made you who you are. You were born the way you are, all of us. Whatever you are, whoever you are, however you identify. It isn't for me to judge you, and it's for no one else to judge you either. But we do it because judgment is also necessary. It's also part of our karma. It also helps to show us who we are. We stand up and we say, actually, I ain't being a teacher anymore, you know. I ain't doing that. It's not what I want. I ain't being a banker. I ain't being in a relationship that I don't want to be in just because the society tells me that by a certain age I've got to have children, or by a certain age I've got to be married. No, you don't. So I'm going to let the world around me, I'm going to let the world around me, you're going to let the world around you tell you who you are. No. So the question, again, Tiny's sitting up. Tiny wants to know, don't you, Tiny? I want to know too. We all want to know, Tiny. What is the answer? It's coming now. If we can't guarantee the outcome, what should determine our input? Come on then, Tiny. Well, you tell us, Tiny. Hey, what do you reckon? If you can't guarantee the outcome, what should determine our input? Well, this is where mindfulness, meditation comes in. Now, mindfulness is about being aware, being aware of where you are physically, emotionally, spiritually, what you are experiencing in that moment, in every single moment. All right, Tiny. In that moment, in every moment, what you are experiencing spiritually, physically, emotionally. Goodbye, baby. That is what mindfulness is about. That is what mindfulness asks us to do. So if you go to work, or on the Sunday before you start back to work on Monday, and you're tense and you're anxious and you don't want to be there and you're dreading it, and then you're driving to work on the Monday morning and you're still feeling that way, ask yourself why. Ask yourself why. Why am I feeling this way? Mindfulness, first of all, is recognizing that that's what you're experiencing, that physically you're having a reaction to this relationship, this job, this place, etc. That emotionally you're having a reaction to this situation, this job, this relationship, whatever. That's mindfulness. Recognizing what those responses are in that moment, at that time, in those times. The second part is meditation. Meditation is the why. Why am I feeling this? Or what am I experiencing, first of all? Why am I experiencing this? Now, your first answer is always right, but never the final answer. I'm feeling this way because I'm anxious. I'm stressed out. Why? Why are you stressed out? Because it's too much. Why? Why is it too much? Meditation actually means to reflect, to consider, to think over. That's what meditation actually means. So when we meditate, that is what we do. We do not, when I meditate out loud a lot. I speak out loud. You know, I do the traditional stuff where you're lying down on your bed and blah, blah, blah. But a lot of the time, my meditation is out loud. I speak out. I mean, I live by myself. Well, just me and Tiny. So it's, you know, there's no one listening. Well, the universe is listening, my darling. But, you know, I speak out loud because that helps me to reflect, to think over, to consider, to meditate. That is what we must do, because that will help us to determine what our actions should be, what our input should be, what we should be doing in our lives, what you should be doing. And it doesn't mean that you have to suddenly, that's not how karma works. You can't make a decision, okay, I know that I no longer want to be a teacher, for example. It doesn't mean that the next week you quit your job or leave your husband or whatever. It doesn't work like that. Just that realization, have that realization first of all. The realization of having that realization will then lead you through your karmic cycle, lead you through, okay, this is what you now need to understand. Okay, so you've been in that situation, so now you need to understand what experience that was linked to. you now need to understand how long you've been carrying that round with you. You also need to understand in what other areas of life you hold yourself back because of that experience that you had, etc., etc., etc. So we move through the karmic cycle, okay? And I suppose finally, this idea, which is, I suppose, what people wanted to know, maybe, or maybe not, you won't fix the world by trying to fix the world. I suppose the reason I say that question, I wrote that down. As I said, it wasn't a conscious thing. I was meditating, and after meditation, this was the thought, this and the 1 + 1 + 3 is the thought that came to mind. And I was encouraged and inspired to write it down, like I always do. I've got plenty of post-its everywhere. So, you won't fix the world by trying to fix the world. Well, that is the law of maths or science, you know. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. No, not karmically there isn't. 1 + 1 = 2. No, not karmically it doesn't. I mean, maths is just maths and science, which I love. I have a huge amount of respect for. I love physics, actually, specifically. But I love science. And my twin sister is actually a chartered accountant. So I've got a lot of respect for maths and all that stuff. But maths and science are just ways of interpreting the world. The ways in which we make sense of the world. That's all maths and science is. That's it. It's a way that we interpret the world. And actually, when it comes to the natural cycle and natural progression of things karmically, if you want to understand about that, you've got to read books like this. And you've got to do the practice and the work. You've got to meditate and be mindful and reflect. That's how you unlock karma. That's why, you know, as I said, some people use law of attraction. Even that, I mean, it's great if that helps you but that only goes so far, law of attraction. Law of attraction is another way of interpreting the world. It's another experience. It's a product of experience, isn't it? It's a product of this world. It's a product of people saying, this is what's going to help you. Just like I'm saying meditation is going to help you. But the only way to actually fully unlock your karma and to actually understand, okay, if I focus instead on doing something that I love, I start to understand that the other things take care of themselves, the paying the bills and all that just takes care of itself. And it does. Believe me, I'm here, aren't I? Make sure you're clicking on your adverts. But if I understand that, the only reason that I know that now, that working on what you love, doing what you love, putting the energy and effort into what you love, it brings me number 3, because my actions were purely driven by inspiration. Every single thing I do on my channel, every single post I write on Instagram or Facebook, every single video, everything I say, they're all inspired. Even this. I will never, ever put videos out just because I need to make some money that month. No. I won't do it. Because I understand that that's to my detriment. You'd think, put loads of content out, you'll make loads of money. No, that's not the point. For me, Tiny agrees clearly. For me, Tiny, what are you doing? For me, good boy. For me, sit down. For me, I have learnt, because I did it for 10 years, didn't I? Just going for the money, the security, does not bring you security. Doesn't bring it you. And the karmic cycle will teach you that. So really, if you want to change the world, you've got to be clear about your motivations for wanting to change the world. Why do you want to change the world? Why? Ask yourself that question. And as I said, the first answer is always right, but it's never, ever the final answer. You keep asking yourself why you want to fix the world. Focus on you, like the Emperor does. Focus on understanding, well, why do I feel like I need to do this? Why do I feel like I want to do this? Why do I feel drawn to it? Is it because you were born this way? It's authentic to you? Be mindful of what you're experiencing physically when you ask yourself this question. Or is it because you were brought up to believe that? You were brought up as a hippie or whatever. I mean, I think I'm probably a hippie, but in a past life, I definitely was, I reckon. I don't know. Or is it because it's a product of your experience, that because everyone's telling you, well, you've got to change the world. This is what's right. It's right to change the world. It's right to change the world. Then we're never going to do it if that's the only... We're never going to fix the world if that's the only reason we're trying to fix it, because everyone tells us to. Be the Emperor. Look inside yourself and continue to ask yourself the questions. Continue to reflect on the answers that you give, and continue to be mindful of what you experience when you're asking yourself these questions and when you're trying to understand your reasons, okay? So, my darlings, I hope that I hope you enjoyed that. You know, I mean, I don't ever plan these videos. As I said, it's all inspired. I don't plan them. This is like the 4th version. No, I'm joking. So this I'll pop this into, I might do a playlist called Key Wisdom. I'll pop this out. It'll go out today, and hopefully you'll see it and let me know what you think. You know, again, there's no right or wrong answers. You're entitled to your opinion, but you know, I'm a Reiki master, so the way that I go about it is I'm always asking why. So if I see a comment, and if I'm teaching you and I'm your client, I'm working with you, and you make a comment, my question to you is, why are you making that comment? And your question should always be that to yourself. You know? Are you saying what you're saying because you were born this way, because that's inherently you? Have you even discovered who that is? Have you even done any work, any meditation to slow down, to be mindful, to understand what that means? Or are you saying it because it's a product of your experience, because you think that's what you should say, because that's who you have become, because of all the things that have happened in your life? You know, remember, you know, it's about being in balance of those two things, in perfect harmony, accepting and respecting and respecting the fact that both of those things make us whole. Both of those things make us whole. That makes us unwell, unbalanced, unstable. Okay? This makes us whole, makes us balanced, makes us stable. And this is the whole point of meditation. This is why we practice meditation. So we can get to this point, so we can understand who we are in our entirety, in our authenticity, in our truth. Okay, my darlings? So I hope you enjoyed that video. I put out yesterday the bi-weekly general tarot readings for those people interested in tarot on my channel. So please, you know, give those a watch. They were really great, actually. I love those. I love doing the readings, actually. And if there's anything else that you want to discuss, I mean, as I said, I like to be inspired, so I won't just do something for the sake of it. I have to be inspired. Someone asked me a few weeks ago about karma, but yeah, I can tell you all about karma, but there's no point unless I'm inspired to. So that's why this has come about, basically, because I was inspired to. So, yeah, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Share the content of this video, because, as I said, it's all about getting people to think. Meditation is, I don't know, I'm not going to diss, you know, the accepted sort of mainstream ideologies about meditation. I'm not going to diss them, because disrespect them, because actually anything that gets people even starting and even thinking, even starting on that road, on that path, is a really positive thing. But as I said, fundamentally, meditation and mindfulness are two very different things, and they work together in conjunction. And really, the whole purpose of meditation is really to start to unlock our DNA, unlock our soul, unlock our spirit, unlock who we are. And they're really meant to ask us questions. Meditation is meant to force us to ask questions, or encourage us to ask questions, I should say. And that is what encourages us to develop and to expand and to grow and to deepen our understanding of our experiences in this life. Okay, so thank you very much for being here, my darlings. I hope you enjoyed this video. Share the content far and wide. Have a fabulous week, month, day, and I will see you all very soon. Take care, my darlings. Bye.